All right, starting lesson 8.4, graphing quadratic equations, or in other words, graphing parabolas. When a quadratic equation, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c is graphed, you will end up with a U-shaped graph called a parabola. Now, the most basic method for graphing quadratic equation, as well as any two-variable equation, is to create a t-chart. All right, so very important. Just continue finding and plotting points until a U-shaped graph is formed. So I'm going to create a t-chart, x and y values. So I choose just random x values. I'm going to do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. If I plug -2 in here, what do I get? I get 4. That's my y value. If I plug in -1, I get 1. If I plug in 0, I get 0. If I plug in 1, I get 1. If I plug in 2, I get 4. So plotting these points now, I have -2 up 4. Then I have -1 up 1. Then I have 0, 0. Then I have 1, 1. And I have over 2 up 4. All right. And I have enough points to graph my parabola. All right, let's do another one. Create your t-chart. X and y. Let's choose these values. Now you could choose other values, but these are typically the easiest values to work with. So I plug -2 in. All right, and I get -2 squared, okay, and which is 4, but then I have this negative on the outside, okay? So then it becomes -4, and plus 3 is -1. Then I have -1. I plug it in here. I get 1. I have the negative attached to it, so I have -1 plus 3, which is 2. Then I have 0, and -0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. Then I plug in 1 again. I get 1 squared is 1. Attach the negative to it, and I have -1 plus 3 is 2. And plug in 2, and I have 4 attached to -2. I have -4 plus 3, which is -1. All right, plotting these points, I have -2 down 1. Then I have -1 up 2. Then I have 0 up 3. Then I have over 1 up 2. Then I have over 2 down 1. All right, and there's my parabola. It's going down this time. All right, here's an important thing to take note of. If there's a positive value in front of the x squared, then the parabola opens upward. If there's a negative value in front of the x squared, it's going to open downward. Let's do a couple more examples. All right, here's my t-chart, x, y. I'm going to choose the same values again. All right, plugging in -2 in here, I get -2 plus 2, which is 0. 0 squared is 0, plus 2, that gives me 2. Plug in -1, I get -1 plus 2, which is 1. 1 squared is 1, and then plus 2, that gives me 3. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. And now 2, plugging 2 in here, I get 2 plus 2, which is 4. 4 squared is 16, plus 2 is 18. All right, see, I'm going to try to plot some of these points now. -2 up 2. Then I have -1 up 3. Then I have 0 up 6. And then 1 go up 11. Okay, so I have these points here, all right? But obviously it looks like the graph is coming down to the left, all right? I need more points to the left. So let's choose -3. Let's plug -3. -3 plus 2 is -1. -1 squared is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. All right, we'll also choose -4. All right, plug in -4. I get -4 plus 2 is -2. -2 squared is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. All right, so I have -3, and then I go up 3. And then I have -4, and then I go up 6. All right, and now I have enough points to graph my parabola. All right, so sometimes you have to work a little harder to get points that you could graph on the grid you're given. All right, let's do one more example. X, Y. All right, I'm going to have negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. All right, got to be careful working this out. Here I have a 2. All right, so if I plug negative 2 in, I get negative 2 squared. Let's just work it out on the bottom here. Negative 2 squared minus negative 2 minus 2. So 4 plus 2 minus 2, those cancel out. I'm left with 4. All right, let's do the same thing with negative 1. Negative 1 squared minus negative 1 minus 2. You got to be really careful with the negatives here, because these can really goof you up. All right, so I end up with 0. Plug in 0. I get negative 2. Plug in 1. All right, I got negative 2 again here, and I plug in 2. I get 4 minus 2 minus 2. I get 4 minus 4 and 0. All right, so I end up with negative 2 up 4. Then I have negative 1 up negative 1. I'm at 0. Then 0, I'm at negative 2. Then at 1, I'm at negative 2. And at 2, I'm at 0. All right, so the parabola goes like this. All right, there we go. All right, so that's graphing parabolas, just using your t-chart, coming up with x values and figuring out the corresponding y values, and just plotting your points, and you'll have your graph. All right, now the blank, or the blank of an equation are all the x values of points where the graph crosses. All right, the zeros, the roots, the x-intercepts, okay, of an equation are all the x values of points where the graph crosses, or another word for crosses is intersects, the x-axis. All right. In other words, the x values of points on the graph where y is equal to 0. Now determine how many roots each graph has. If there are any, state them. All right, here are the roots, or the zeros, where the graph crosses the x-axis. So I have one at negative 1, and I have another at x equals 2. All right, those are my roots. All right, then here I have one root. It just touches the x-axis, and then goes back off in another direction. So I have x equals negative 3. Done with that. The next one, the graph does not intersect the x-axis, so there is no real solution here. All right, and then here I have these two values, x equals 2 and x is equal to 5. All right, if you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Begin the assignment.